Swag, what do you do with the Ducks? The resume is not the greatest.
It's hard. How much do you figure in the injuries? They have been beset by injuries all season long. If N'Faly Dante is truly healthy, they're scary and they look like a tournament team.
Last night they looked like a tournament team against Stanford.
So I think they can play their way in. They can't have a bad loss. It would certainly help if they could beat, I don't know, I got to look at the rest of their schedule here. If they get, but they need to beat a Wazoo and/or an Arizona in the conference tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Joey Brackett's in his latest bracketology doesn't even have them on the next four out.
Well, and they don't have a signature win.
No.
They lost to Alabama and Santa Clara when they played in that Thanksgiving tournament out in Florida. They lost to Syracuse in that game in South Dakota.
That one's bad.
I
mean, I think we're kind of saying the same things, right? Like we both think when they're healthy, they can look like a tournament team. But I think the resume in the season largely says no.
So next Saturday's their shot. They're at Arizona. It's an early game, 11 a.m.
Yep.
That's their shot. If they can pull that off and not lose to Cal and Oregon State.
And then I think they have to have a deep conference tournament run.
Probably need to get at least to the semifinals.
At the minimum, it has to be the semis.
If they could beat Washington, if they get Washington State and they could beat them, then I think they get in as a 10 seed or something.
18-8, right now. 10-4 in conference.
18-8. Yep, they're in third place in the conference.
I mean, it's not bad.
So but they don't have a signature win.
If you were to bet money, would you bet that they sneak in? Maybe one of the play-in
games? If they win at Arizona next week, then I think they'll find a way in. They'll probably, they're going to win those. They'll have 22, 23 wins.
God, is this not what Dana Altman seems to do all the time? I know they missed the tourney last year, but this has kind of been the MO is slow start, guys not healthy, midway point, start to kind of pick it up, look okay, a little unhealthy, get back up, get right, finish strong. Hey, look, the Oregon Ducks made it in.
Yep. That's almost a formula now for a lot of schools. But he has had an inordinate amount of injuries to key scholarship guys.
Yes.
Above and beyond what most schools deal with.
Yeah. I mean, they're at least putting themselves in a position to make a committee think about them.
I think they're past they're in the there's no margin for error. So you can't have a bad loss.
Nope.
But you need one big victory. And whether it's at Arizona next Saturday, whether it's getting Arizona or Washington State in the conference tournament, I think they need that to convince the tournament that they're all healthy and they can take the injuries into account.
What do I do with the school up the road a little bit? OSU is now, and this is from Nick Daschel of OregonLive.com. In the past 3 seasons, Oregon State is 1-40 in road and neutral site games.
Ouch.
They've lost their 7th straight game. They blew a 10-point lead yesterday. 11, I think got to 11.
Yeah, got to 11. It was 9 at halftime.
But they shot 56% or 54%, in the first half, shot 36% in the second half. Cal's not good. They're not having a good year. And second half comes, they blow it. Their offense is stagnant. They can't score. Cal takes advantage. Cal ends up coming back on Oregon State and winning 1-40 in road and neutral site games in your last 3 years. Look, I would probably lean they're not going to do anything because financially they've kind of screwed themselves by giving them that massive extension off of one semi-lucky run. And Barnes deserves some criticism for that too. I thought when he gave that extension, I was like, really? We're doing that? But I don't know what to do here because if you tell me Bilodeau and Pope get plucked out of the portal because they're really good players, what are you selling me next year? Why is this going to get any better? They've lost 7 straight games. They're dead last in the conference. They're the worst team in the conference.
They're now last. They are the 12th seed. I don't know. I mean, this is
But like, okay, can I ask you this? Can
I
I
don't
ask
know
you this?
what they do.
I talked about this with Orm a little bit on and off the air, and like I think you want to give a guy 4 years after an Elite Eight run. I can listen to that. I can get with that. But when it gets to this level, this
That's
is
true, but
this is not
here's
a year after the Elite Eight. This he had a loaded team coming
yeah.
back for the Elite Eight year. And I heard from behind the scenes that like a lot of those personalities, they clashed, they had ego. Okay, that's kind of the coach's responsibilities to rein that in,
Yeah.
to know his guys. So then that season was like a 3-win season.
Yeah,
They
it was a
lose all
lost
those guys.
season.
They restart it with youth. Terrible last year. They come back this year. Even worse. And I just, at some point, it goes from, he's made the tournament twice to, eh.
Here's the tricky part with the current state of things for Oregon State, though, is if you decide to move on.
Oh, you got to buy a buyout and you got to go get a new coach.
Well, but what coach, even if you have money to pay, what coach is going to want to come to this
Yeah,
situation?
that's I actually hate that argument. You saying that now, and I think Orem said it. It's like I get it, but college basketball is not college football. There are 68 teams that get to go to that thing, and yeah, you're going to a new conference. Your money's not going to be as good.
Yeah, but if you're
There's
trying to
coaches everywhere,
I understand, but if you're
everywhere.
trying to get a coach at a certain echelon with a certain pedigree at a certain salary level, they're
You're not your echelon is not here. It is you need to
well,
set that down. They're a
well, I understand.
WCCC. They're a
No, I
WCC team
understand that,
now.
but if you're trying to go get somebody that maybe has some history and some success, usually they come in and they want some knowns. And that's the tough part right now. There's so many unknowns that somebody who's either trying to get back into it or it's a tough sell. It's a really tough sell. So
There's a
unless you're
million coaches though. Who's the San Francisco coach? Because
oh,
taking
Chris Gerlifson,
Chris Gerlifson?
yeah, but he was on he was on the staff. I don't know if there's somebody on Oregon State staff that you want to move up.
No, no. Anything revolving around what's going on right now, I wouldn't want to move up. No, I just, I think living in that space.
I think it's a really tough sell.
I think living in the space of we can't find anybody is detrimental to your
I think there's
program.
lots of guys you can find. I think it's a really tough sell.
Is it any tougher than any other WCC school or Group of Five school? I feel like there's a lot of these programs that are finding coaches.
But that's not what Oregon State's trying to do. That's
What
what
do you
I'm
mean? What
saying.
is Oregon State trying to do?
They're still trying to think of themselves and prepare themselves to be back at a Power
But you're
5
not.
conference.
You're not.
Well,
You're dead last. You want to be in a Power 5 conference? You are. You're dead last. So like you got to re-examine how you view yourself. That this is a self-inflicted problem. So it's ugly right now and it feels like Beaver fans pretty fed up with it. So we'll see. I don't know. I financially they're kind of in a tight spot right now. And there's really nothing of positive to sell to the fan. Don't tell me what next year's going to be because this team's young. I don't even know if you're going to have your young players that are on the team going into next year because the good ones, I think it's clear you can tell who's good on this team. And if I'm another school, I'm trying to poach a school that's getting kind of demoted and going to a lesser conference. I also don't think you should be paralyzed by who are we going to find. There's coaches. I just read an athletic piece about a blogger for the Knicks that interviewed for a G League position as a staff member and was so impressive that the guy hired him. He then went to the NBA and became an assistant, and now he's running the Orlando G League affiliate as the head coach. That guy was blogging. He is a law school grad. There are coaches everywhere. We'll see what Oregon can do. They've got to finish strong if they want a shot at this thing. And Oregon State is just, they're stuck in the dump right now. They're stuck in the dump, and I don't know how you sell what they are going forward. 1-40 in neutral site road games. That's tough. That's there's something happening there. And I don't know how else you explain it.